Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show. For a few more days. We're good.
What?
We got
10
this.
more shows. 10
what
more shows.
10 more shows, baby. We're good. Is it really just 10?
Yeah.
I thought it was more than 10.
No. We've got 3 weeks, so 12th show was yesterday. Yeah,
10 more after. Well, we still got today, so there's 11.
This is the 11th, so 10 more
Don't
after today.
short circuit our amazing fans. I got 11 shows.
And
It's 10
3
more
really
after
good
today.
ones.
One of the top 3 last shows is tonight.
Here we are, baby.
Do you feel better, Davey?
I do. A lot of pressure. I love this guy. I love this show. It's an amazing show.
fun
I'm
show.
very happy to be here. Have a seat at this table because it means a lot. Troy made a comment the other day that like I don't get a lot of opportunities on this network to be able to really showcase myself. I mean, I'm a lot of one-liners and funny stuff.
Yeah.
But this show is really kind of giving me an opportunity to like really like dive in and share this space with friends. So thank you, guys. Seriously.
And we love you.
All right,
been
so
a
who
lot
are
of
your
fun.
friends in this room? I just got to ask.
Number 1.
Suddenly, I feel like the room grew by 2 people. Davey, himself, and I, right? And then the 2 of us. Suddenly,
You
there's
got to
5
buy
of
my
us in here.
friendship, Mr. Davis. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my goodness. Davey,
His love don't cost a thing, but his time does.
I have said repeatedly, I think that you have a big personality, and it's really fun having you in the show. And I've loved doing the shows with you. They've been absolutely awesome and amazing. So I've appreciated your time in here. And I do think that with the bigger the ensemble, the harder it is to get. I mean, I've sat in the morning show,
Right. Yeah.
and I sit there for a lot. I mean, I don't sit there this long in my show, but it's kind of like it was funny. Bill Maher was on Gutfeld one time, and Gutfeld was doing his monologue, and Maher said, "You got 4 other people here. Does anybody else get to talk?" And Gutfeld's like, we're getting there, right? So I get that. I've enjoyed the times that I get to appear on that show, but I realize it's a whole different role when you've got 4.
Yes.
And there's a lot to talk about, and you're trying to work through that. And so it's a different dynamic in studio, and I think it's harder.
I'm a Troy. I just helped Troy. He needs help in the morning. Troy, what do you think about this? Oh, well.
No, I think when Pete relegated him to just one-word answers on the weather, it's the best thing anybody ever did for Troy.
Quick check of the weather. That is iconic, actually.
Check of the weather.
They have it down so
There you
good.
go.
Yeah, they
One
do.
day,
Yes.
and they didn't even plan this. It was really cool. So Great Expectations is their sponsor for it. So he Pete goes, Troy, quick check of the weather, and Troy goes, great, and then Pete goes, Expectations Realty. It was like the most perfect segue.
Yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun to have that. I mean, that's kind of why I've always tried to keep minimal amount of guests. I mean, I know we go crazy on Thursday because we're doing trivia and stuff.
Oh, it's always
But
fun though.
But it's really fun to watch Blake's expressions on Thursday.
Very fun. Very fun to see Lenny try to like climb his way out of the hole that he dug himself into in the beginning of the
always digs himself in a hole
Yes.
100%
I know.
of the time. It's
Lenny,
great.
oh.
I mean, at this point in time, you would think he would know there's a slant to the questions. Right? You would think there's biased questions,
Right.
Lenny. Do you want to win the game or do you want to give your correct answer? And so far, Lenny has stuck to his principles. He's going to lose, but give his answers.
Even if we give him the answer, he's still like, nah, I don't think that's it.
I don't think so.
He gives a different
Can you
answer.
imagine if Trump were to win like a Nobel Peace Prize and that was the question and Lenny would have to answer that? I think he'd kill himself first. He'd be like, I'm out of here. Last show I was ever doing.
Very weak show. Not the greatest question.
Not the greatest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we should do that Thursday.
Okay.
The person who gives the best Trump impression gets a point.
Oh,
Lenny's going to
This
tank that Blake.
Misogyny. I can't do that.
you can do Melania. Don't say anything.
Just bring a hat.
Yeah.
Just bring a really
Really like
dig a really big black
Yeah.
floppy hat.
Carmen Sandiego
Yes.
style.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I had one of those hats.
We can find one for you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
send
It's just good. We need to make some money for the show.
Yeah.
So we
Nice.
still got to pay for this month. So
We do. So there is, okay. Just making sure.
So
Yeah.
invoicing at the end of the month, is that the way this works?
No. I have actually paid all the staff. So
We're done.
Davey got paid.
I know, but then that means we're done. I'm just making sure.
Is there another check coming?
Well, I just didn't know because I started and then
No,
like we'd have a month and then you get paid, and so I just didn't know.
I promise you this.
I know you're right.
When we get to residuals from being what do they call that whenever you get picked up? Syndicated. I promise you, I'll give you the best residuals ever.
That'll be amazing.
Yes.
The biggest residuals, the best. Some might say
The best. No one does residuals like I do. No one. Everyone says he gives the best residuals.
You want me on the show? There's going to be a tariff. Okay. Yeah. Tear off these clothes. So rude.
Davey's next career.
I know. Now shopping. Thinking about bringing Cafe Erotica back. Exotica or whatever it's called.
I'm just going to ask Blake every Thursday from now on, has Davey opened the OnlyFans page?
He might know.
Because Troy or Blake will know. Blake will know.
He's the specialist.
He is our embedded reporter in that format.
Yeah.
Not sure it's best for his brain.
Blake can find in the deepest, darkest parts of the web anything about anybody. Literally, yes.
He goes to parts of the web I won't go to. That's why.
True. Like I don't want the spam, but he'll go for it. Yeah. No, I know. Blake,
I don't need that algorithm.
Yeah.
I've got
kids. Carlos Danger is what we call him. Carlos Danger.
God bless him.
All right. Do not call these guys today.
Okay.
Do not call them tomorrow, but they are absolutely amazing sponsors. Abear Kresge and Associates. They're a full-service local CPA firm. If you need tax help, it's too late. They can't do it today.
Good gracious.
But they can help you later on in the week once they've recovered. They've got a team of skilled professionals that have been working their tails off to get returns in. They do tax compliance planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. They also do audits, reviews, and other accounting services, like save your bacon when you forgot to file your taxes. They do business valuations, forensic analysis, and litigation support, which you might need if you didn't file the taxes. But call Bill and Ken over at Abear Kresge. Wonderful folks. You can reach them at 904-460-0747 or online at abearkresge.com. I almost called Bill like 3 times this week already because he does the taxes for a nonprofit. And I'm like, not this week. And then I put a reminder in my Outlook, do not call Bill Abear this week, because I really wanted to call him. And I'm like, you got to let this go. You got to let him have next week off. It's now set the Monday from the 28th is when I get to call him again.
Yeah, save that contact information. Call at the end of the month. Give the man a break.
You want it? Yeah. Go ahead.
Solar Stick, established in 2006, Solar Stick is a local portable power company proudly committed to American manufacturing, constant innovation, and creating jobs right here in St. Augustine, Florida. Solar Stick's focus on providing solutions for self-sufficiency helps users all over the world complete missions and save lives. Solar Stick, changing lives, saving lives, and reviving American manufacturing.
All right, let's get real for a second. All right. Finding a great dentist is like finding the perfect beach spot in St. Augustine. It's rare, refreshing, and absolutely worth it. Enter Dr. Stephanie Kinsey and her team at Palencia Dental. Where going to the dentist feels more like visiting the spa than sitting in a dreaded chair. Dr. Stephanie isn't just your ordinary dentist. She's a community superstar. When she's not transforming smiles at Palencia Dental, she's singing her heart out in the village choir or volunteering her time as director of dentistry at the Wildflower Clinic. We love her so much, providing dental care for those who need it the most. This is someone who doesn't just care about your teeth, she cares about you. So give a call to Palencia Dental, where your smile gets the star treatment. 904-826-4343.
All right, and Moultrie Creek Diner and Anastasia Diner. These neighborhood diners are more than just a place to eat. They're where hospitality blooms and friends gather. Make new friends or bring your own friends. The coffee is always hot, the smiles are genuine, and the food tastes like home. Every meal is a chance to make memories, share stories, and create bonds that last a lifetime. It's not just about the food on the plate, but the community that comes together at the table. Come see us at Moultrie Creek Diner and Anastasia Diner. Tell them Andy sent you. You're not getting any discounts. The Bulldogs did not win the national championship this year. But
man.
I got to say, I did tell Andy on Sunday I was having breakfast there.
What did you eat?
I had the Western omelet in a burrito. And then I did something I never do, because I usually get hash browns for that I smother in Dado ketchup and a biscuit and some bacon. But I went for fruit this week. It was,
Very nice.
I know.
Yeah, very nice.
I said, don't tell Darcy I had fruit without her, because she generally gets an order of fruit.
Oh,
she eats the fruit she likes, and then I get the fruits that are discarded fruits.
Yeah.
I get the fruits that are going to be sent to the island of
like
misguided fruits. She has misfit fruits.
Yeah.
I get those.
Yeah.
But she's like, you're going to eat that, right? I'm eating that, yes.
Are you a cantaloupe fan?
No.
You don't like
No.
cantaloupe? No, but this is the
I
season.
don't do fruit.
Speaking of fans, because I had to, I don't know about you, but I watched past of our shows in the past, and we roasted you last year about Peeps. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your season.
I
got
used
roasted
to getting
the other
roasted.
day.
Did you
I'm used
really?
to getting
I watched
roasted.
the show from yesterday this morning, and I didn't realize you were going to drag out the announcement until the very end. I mean, very timely of everyone. But so yeah, I got roasted at the beginning about the new law about falling asleep.
Yeah, you get roasted pretty much every day. Yeah. Was today what we did something today? Something was today.
Did I get roasted again today?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Man, you guys are awesome. You know, any kind of publicity is great if it's free. So I
Absolutely.
love you guys for
Absolutely.
that. So
we love it when like we'll hear banging or whatever's going on upstairs, and we'll be like, "Oh, Mike fell."
I'm so gonna bring a basketball and bounce it on the last morning show. I might bring like 5 and let everybody right upstairs bounce the basketball. No, cantaloupe is like a disease with the other fruits
because
it whatever touches it then tastes like cantaloupe.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a virus. I just keep it in its own bowl away from all the good tasting fruits.
It's the Irish of fruit. It's banging everybody.
Yeah,
Tastes
that's
like it,
true. Absolutely.
As an Irish guy, I take offense.
Everybody has a little bit of Irish in them.
I
It's
do.
because they're doing everybody. Everybody in this room has part Irish.
Wow.
I have
Just
all the
saying.
attitude problems. Irish.
We were going to do a family show again today, but it just didn't work out.
Well, it's all right.
mean-
I mean, coming from your stories upcoming here.
Oh, my gosh.
Barbara Jean better be sitting down.
Barbara Jean better be sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, better be
Get
holding
on the
on.
poles.
Better be
Kenny,
holding on to her
What do you
wallet.
think I am?
Kenny.
Oh man, she's retired, Kenny.
Yes.
Happily married and retired.
Yes.
Many blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Had the great guys from Jimmy Jam on Monday.
Awesome.
We had Spencer and Ryan King talking about the big Jimmy Jam moment coming up. They're doing a class.
Yes, they are.
What is it called? Smoke Like a Pro?
Smoke like a pro.
Pete thought it was a different kind of smoking, though.
Of course.
So
he
did Barbara Jean.
Okay. Of course. But no, smoking is like a barbecue term. But
yes.
Louis going to
Yes.
this, right?
Yes,
Is he-
he's going to smoke like a pro. Yes, it is a term. It is a way of cooking.
Okay.
So yeah, Louis going to this. We talked about it. He decided it would be an early Father's Day gift. So
Wasn't that one of the titles you read that day on the show?
It was.
I just think it was one of those.
It was. I got to tell you, though, there is a family moment at the end of this on Saturday. Will you and the kids be there?
Of course we will.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Go and support. Go and see everybody.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
be
it's
fun.
cool. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, we're just rocking and rolling, doing shows. How's your week been, Mr. Davis?
Nothing much happening.
Not much happening.
Just a slow week here on the 904 now.
Golly.
My week's good. It's been very busy. I had to deal with check fraud yesterday.
What?
Yeah, somebody tried to write a check on our account, so I had to deal with that.
You
And I
caught
did,
me.
and the bank that I dealt with,
He caught me.
were amazing.
Yeah?
And I could tell it wasn't you because it wasn't, and I knew it wasn't Amanda because it wasn't for $69,690
It's
and
my
90
signature.
69
Yeah, my
cents.
handwriting's very floral, so you would
Yeah.
definitely know it was mine.
Oh, you're now in contention.
Yeah.
Mine-
It looked really good.
Mine looks like a serial killer, but I definitely would have thrown a 69 in if I was going to try and fraud you.
Well, there was. I knew it was nobody that listens to the show because 69 was not in.
not in there.
Was not in there. It wasn't like
$8,000.
somebody that watches the show.
Yeah, 69 cents.
I know that.
That's funny.
Was not that. So
Yep.
no, so I dealt with that yesterday. The bank that I dealt with was amazing. They got it all worked out. But I knew I had like a check that I had written to my church. And so I had to call my church and go, hey, that's probably going to bounce tomorrow because it hadn't cleared and they shut down the account.
Oh, how
So this morning when I woke up, it's like, oh, they accepted it. And then this afternoon, they're like, no, insufficient funds.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. All right. So yeah, so I'm fighting through this process.
Yeah, what is the process?
Well, you first thing you do,
Like, can you buy a sandwich right now?
oh yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, I can. I borrowed money from Pete.
Good. At
He's
least
got all
makes
that
using
Florida
it.
man revenue. He's got plenty of money.
He's also old school. He's got cash.
I got
We
cash.
don't have
Oh,
cash.
God.
We'd be in trouble,
No.
but he's
But,
fine.
so funny story today.
I got jewelry.
I go to the Chick-fil-A at the Flagler College because we usually eat lunch before our meetings on Tuesday at 1. And we didn't have time to go to lunch. It was just a crazy morning. And so I get down and it's like, well, it's either the cafeteria or Chick-fil-A. I'll go into the Chick-fil-A that's down there, right? So I go in and they're like, are you a student or are you paying with cash? I'm like, oh, I'll pay for cash. So I walk over there. I don't have a bill that's a small bill. So I order the stuff and I know what's going to happen. And they're like, oh, we can't cash that. I mean, it's a college campus.
Yeah.
Everybody's using their mom and dad's credit cards or debit card that mom and dad puts money in.
Yeah.
And so they probably got $40 in that cash drawer.
Yeah.
And I needed more than $40.
And you're gonna wipe out their change.
So then like, no, you got to go over to the kiosk and then you got to pay. So I ordered twice, but the food was good. So it was awesome. It was just a one of those.
You ordered two of the same meal?
No, they canceled my order at the cash counter. And then I had to go to the kiosk.
Oh, you're that
So
guy?
I had to use the robot.
What
which
a
I don't like
boomer
the robot.
moment. Oh, man.
It said cash. It didn't say no large bills. It said cash. If you offer, then you should accept the cash. So
Did you hear about the dude that got arrested stealing from the Walmart stores and his name was Speedy Gonzalez? I am not kidding you, sir. That is the funniest story ever. His name is truly Speedy Gonzalez. He was putting...
Not speedy enough.
And when Pete announced it or reported on it, and it was this guy was putting items in this giant trash bin. And like he would go up and just scan the trash bin and not the items inside of it. But he got away with like $50K worth of stuff across the eastern side.
First of all, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant.
First of all, that's brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
That's absolutely. I had a guy here in town who sold the same product that Walmart sold, but he used Walmart as his distribution center. So he would go in and buy the products, right? And anytime he needed Walmart to reorder them, he would when he buy all the products out, right? So he would take the barcode. Because the Walmart people didn't know every barcode that was in there, and they didn't know if there was a hole in the space there, whether it was the stuff on the left or the right, or there was actually something there. And then when he wanted them to reorder, he'd go put the barcode back in place. So Walmart was his distribution center, and then he had all the product, and nobody else had it.
This is absolutely genius.
It was a genius move.
Did he get caught?
No, never got caught.
God bless.
Never got caught. Why? I mean, it's one or two items in Walmart out of this whole store, and people are like stocking the shelves. They don't know what to stock if they can't scan the barcode.
Well, the employees don't even stock Walmart. Everything, Walmart has like consignment deals with all their vendors. And so if you ever see someone working and you ask them where something is and they're like, oh, I don't work here, it's because they're a vendor that's putting everything on consignment. So like Walmart's not going to tackle you if you're stealing something because they don't pay for it until you buy it. Yeah. So if nobody ever buys it, they don't have to pay for it.
Oh, I had no idea about any of that. Wow.
Yeah. And then if you sell to Walmart and they put it in 500 stores and there's 5 items here and 4 items there and 7 items here, you got to go pick it up.
Yeah.
And if you don't pick it up, they charge you to get rid of it.
And if you ship it to the wrong store, they're not shipping it back to you. So
Walmart's
I know
tough,
someone
baby.
that worked at a Walmart grocery store, and vendors or the shipping agents would drop off like TVs or bicycles or whatever, and it was just written off as a loss, and then they would auction it off to the employees, and they would raise money for Children's Miracle Network based on what people paid for the stuff that was just abandoned there by vendors.
So a little bit different of a story. When I worked at Tiffany's,
slightly different.
You brought a trash can in.
We would have.
You took the barcode.
True story. I took a trash can into Tiffany's. He was my college boyfriend, but same thing.
A dumpster fire.
That was well played.
That was
You've
very
been
well
waiting
played.
on that burn for years.
That was a good
I
one.
actually don't have a problem with him, but it was right there. So sorry, man.
He's crying right now. What did I do? I took it to Tiffany's.
mean it.
He didn't buy me anything. We just looked.
Uh-huh.
If you worked with me, you'd be buying, baby.
Yeah.
And still be paying for it to this day.
To this day.
That's why I had to move to Florida to hide from all those clients up north. Just kidding. But no, they would have chip and dent for their employees.
Are you ever going to tell anybody your real name?
No.
Because you're living under an alias down here in Florida, so I just want to know if you're
100%.
No one can even spell my middle name correctly. So
Carlos Danger.
We're going to take that joke to the end of the show.
like it. So chip and dent, but that's how you employees could afford stuff. Like if there was like a Tiffany vase or something with like a little tiny bubble in the crystal, it would be chip and dent.
Yeah.
If there was those charm bracelets and maybe like they didn't pick it up after engraving, you could buff out that engraving and then boom for like $20. I mean,
Nice.
that's the price of silver. That's why I get worried when people buy jewelry and they're investing too much into silver. You got to really think about the price of silver, what it goes for scrap value. And it's really not that much, maybe $2 an ounce or $5 an ounce or something. the gold is really where the investment is right now. My goodness, have you seen the price of gold? Have you seen it?
I heard it was really high.
Over 30.
Really high.
It is huge right now. It's the highest ever. So anyway, I'm just saying. If you want to sell some gold, let me know. I got somebody.
You want to sell some
Carlos
gold?
Danger.
Yes. Flashes and brilliance. I love those people. But
yeah.
Good stuff, man.
So, Jimmy Jam, what's the date on that? Did you give anybody the dates
May
on that?
2nd, May 3rd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Amanda's having a spa day that day. I can already tell.
No,
She's
I
taking
have
the
to
girls.
watch the kids because Louis going to be cooking with all the dudes and drinking
Right,
bourbon and beer.
And Friday night is the steak night. So that's like the fun, like learn how to do steak.
Yes.
It's actually going to be a really cool event. Talking to Ryan and Spencer about it. Like there's going to be
Spencer's
like
awesome.
Oh, Spencer's amazing.
Yes.
Got a great guy.
They had like they're going to have like this competition between the two there. Yeah. And he's taught class before. So it's going to be like a fun, progressive learning. Like they have all the meats in different departments.
Yeah.
And they're just going to zero in on the different meats throughout it. So yeah, it's going to be really, really cool.
It's going to be a really cool
I think that
event.
was an awesome gift, Boo. Like that was a
Yes.
smart idea to get for pre-Father's Day.
I'm not dumb.
Are you going to get him anything else? That's it.
I mean,
You know that I know. That's what we always do, right?
We'll see.
So my mother is pressing me.
Yeah, we heard. How's is iWatch, right?
Yes.
How's the quest of the iWatch?
All right, low-key.
What is your mother pressing you on?
Okay, so she twisted her ankle, okay? And she
Falling into boxes.
fell in. So I was walking down the stairs and I twisted my ankle. And I was walking in the garage and down the stairs and I fell into the boxes. And I'm telling you, God strike me down. God strike. And that's how it hurts you, like right here in the middle of your. So long story short, my mother would like an iWatch.
Yeah.
Because then she'll be able to call the police if something happens. I'm like, couldn't we just get you an emergency alert bracelet?
Yeah.
Nope. She wants an iWatch. So I found one that fell off the truck, and she's getting one Friday.
Oh, yeah? I hope she's not watching tonight.
No, she don't watch, please. She's so sick of me. And she's visiting May 8th, so that'll be exciting. I haven't seen her in about a year, so that'll be fun. She's coming to town, and I told my niece, I'm like, a lot of sleepovers. But yeah, she's getting the iWatch, but I'm purposely giving it to her now so she can go to the Christiana Mall in Delaware, get it set up, understand the intricacies of the actual watch so I don't have to play tech guy. I hate that. That's my thing. I can't deal with just learn. Just watch a YouTube.
I have comments.
Oh, goodness. Here we go.
So first of all, until you actually said iWatch and you touched her wrist, I didn't know if we were watching her eyes or is an Apple Watch. I didn't get that. I know I'm old and I have
I want an iWatch.
I have an Android, but that was gaming. And then who was setting it up? And you told me in the story who was setting it up, but I had that question.
The Mac store.
But you understand what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a call. Davey!
All the time.
I don't know what this is on my watch.
First call.
What should I do, Davey?
Second call is okay
Mom,
too.
can you take a
Third
screenshot
call.
of it? What's a screenshot?
I don't have to know any of that. Yeah, I can't. And like the neighbors moved away. Like honestly, I am the only hub of information for this woman and her ankle situation.
So another question, the way you were doing your mom's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Is your personality more like your mom's or
Yes.
more like your dad's?
100% my mother.
Because you did it spot on, and I don't even know your mom.
Oh,
I thought that was the best impersonation of your mom that I don't know ever.
If you follow me on TikTok, there's all these skits of me doing impersonating my mother, and yeah, she is a hilarious woman, big energy.
Mm-hmm.
My father is my sister.
Yeah.
My sister is much more like my father because she's really calm, cool, collected, just a really super person, peaceful panda.
Yeah.
And then there's us, the wild, all over the place, hysterical, 500 miles per hour we're talking, and then we make no sense, and we run into things and twist our ankles.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is in 25 years, I'm going to get a call from you about how you fell into a
I need an iWatch.
Yeah.
Man, Boo.
Yeah.
Boo. I need an iWatch, Boo.
Please. Come on, Amanda.
Yes.
So funny.
Davey could be given one word to call someone and let them know who it is. And if the word when they answer the phone was boo, who? They'll be like, oh, it's Davey Hartzel.
Absolutely.
Davey Hartzel needs
My
something.
signature, I own that word.
So, Amanda, you, more like your mom or more like your dad?
I'm more like my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more like my dad.
Yeah.
Which drives my mom crazy a little bit. So
Well,
sorry,
she
Mom.
married him, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. Yeah, but she wasn't planning to
On raising him, too.
raise him and,
And
be
Amanda.
outnumbered by him.
Well, there's
So, yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
What about you, sir?
I'm probably more like my dad. As I get older, I get quieter, which has got, my mom was more the vocal one of the two of them. Dad would talk, but it was more sports stuff. I've always talked more politics and things like that. But as I get older, I enjoy the fact of listening. It's come to me late in life. It only took 6 decades, but I'm getting there. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of like, okay, I get that. But Dad was really, really quiet. And Dad was one of those guys that didn't understand that quiet people sometimes can be really intimidating.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where you stand with a quiet person. And I was like, Dad, you just intimidated the heck out of that person. He's like, what do you mean? Well, they were trying to engage you in a conversation. You wouldn't engage. And kind of, you might have just.
Was he shy?
No, he's like, if he didn't have something to say, he wasn't going to say it. So you had to dig stuff out of him.
I'd have been his worst nightmare.
You had to dig stuff out of him. It was like, and then all of a sudden, sometimes he'd just be like, give you all this information. Like, where has that been? Where has this story come from for all these years? But yeah, Mom was much more vocal. But
I'm so confused. So Troy is your dad?
that didn't go anywhere.
Not for sure. Troy's very similar to that.
No. Troy is not that way at all. Troy is that way on the morning show.
Oh, okay.
If you go to a bar with Troy, he can't shut up.
Troy is very fun at a bar. Yes.
And he will try to get you in trouble with somebody else.
Just for his own amusement.
Just for his own amusement, who may or may not be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Right? The guy I'd be like Francis from Stripes. And you touch me and I'll kill you, right? Like Davey loves to touch people. Davey, go touch that person, right?
That's
exactly. And then Troy sits back and watches the fight that he started.
He's definitely a character out at night, definitely.
Yes.
He's triviaing right now, actually.
That's why we can talk about some of the stuff, because he's at trivia, Lenny's at trivia, Blake's at trivia.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that it will come back if Amanda pays attention, has any kind of memory. So one of the stories that
lovely.
No. So we can go dogs.
Okay.
Or we can go dementia. Where do you guys want to go?
Oh, which D do you want to
Which D do we want today?
I'm in a room full of men being asked to pick a D.
Yes.
I'll go dogs.
You want to go dogs. All right. So there was a story out today, and it was about are dogs bad for the environment?
No. What? This is a horrible story.
So I read this and I thought, first of all, who wrote this?
Who wrote this?
Because if you look at political campaign ads, if you have a dog, that dog is in the political ad with you.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
people love dogs, right?
Yeah.
So here's the story. It says the left has been awfully quiet about climate concerns recently, but one outlet is bringing back the topic by reporting on the environmental impact of man's best friend. So it says we're used to hearing about cow flatulence making the planet warmer, but did you know that your very own pet may be at least partially to blame, Davey?
Well, the word partially in that is an interesting.
According to The Guardian, new
mine.
research has found that dogs have extensive and multifarious impacts on the environment. That's a good word. I've never heard that word before. Multifarious, which means not nefarious, but multifarious.
Right.
Multiple fariousness is out there, not one, but a multifarious. Amanda's going to look it up and give us the real definition.
Many of various types.
Yes. Recent studies have made the argument the environmental impact of owned dogs is far greater, more insidious, and more concerning than generally recognized. How can owning a dog be insidious? The person that wrote this story should be forced to work at a dog park.
It was a cat.
It might have been. Wait a minute, the byline's Garfield. In Australia, attacks by unrestrained dogs on little penguins in Tasmania may contribute to colony collapse.
Wait,
well,
there's penguins in Tasmania. Isn't it too hot for them?
At the very bottom.
Oh.
Next to Antarctica, which is really
hot
cold.
in the middle, cold on the ends.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like my dating life.
In the United States, it's like the mere presence of a dog in an area is enough to deter local wildlife. Yeah, because they bark and they're loud.
protecting.
Yeah.
This is a horrible article.
U.S. studies have found that deer, foxes, and bobcats were less active in or avoided wilderness areas where dogs were allowed.
This
They
is horrible.
should all be jailed. While other research shows that insecticides from flea and tick medications kill aquatic invertebrates when they wash off in our water.
That is so dumb because it's a pill form now. It's not even a
Dog
topical.
feces can also leave scent traces and affect soil chemistry
bacteria.
and plant growth.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
This is a cat that wrote this. You are right, Amanda.
Yeah.
I did not
100%.
figure this out.
Yes.
not what I feed my animals. I'll tell you that. That's why the gold market's doing so good.
I read that. I was like, somebody really hates dogs to write this article.
Mm.
Dogs are great. They're awesome.
Well, there was an
Sheepdog,
article that I read.
They're a delicacy in some places.
About 10 years ago that made the argument that pets, if you care about the environment, if you really want to lower your carbon footprint, then you can't justify owning pets. Having a pet just for friendship is unnecessarily raising your carbon footprint because the carbon footprint of making their food, the carbon footprint of making their products, a lot of plastic goes into pet
We're
products.
beyond friendship, Amanda.
And so, they said
My
you
dogs are
can't
my
justify
world.
pets just for the relationship. If you care about the environment, you should only own animals that you plan on eating. And I cannot find that article anywhere because I think that was also out of Australia. I think those two people got so many death threats after
Probably.
that went live that
Absolutely.
it got scrubbed from the internet.
Horrible.
But that it kind of made me laugh because everyone I know that yells at me because I had kids and that's a huge carbon footprint issue has like 18 pets.
Kids and 18 pets. Perfect.
18.
Be
pets.
sponsored by Febreze, you poor thing. I hear you. How many times a week do you vacuum?
I have a Roomba, so
You're one of those. You and
Yes.
Pete must be nice.
I have a
Do you know
Roomba.
what that does to the environment?
I love it.
It's horrible for the
It's
environment.
cold
It's
on
made out of
occasion, and I
plastic.
don't want it to be
Oh.
cold.
Do the
so,
animals
yes.
bother your Roomba?
No.
Like nothing? No, everyone's fine with it.
I mean, they get used to it and they ignore it.
Oh.
It's if I have an animal that's not used to seeing a Roomba moving in my house, then that becomes an issue.
It'll
But
become like a toy.
yeah,
I
they're
mean, I
used
must
to it.
I must vacuum 3 times. a day.
mine will let it come right up to their back, and then it'll go along their back and clean them like
Oh,
a
I love
cabinet.
that. That's funny.
So, we had a family related to us that lived somewhere else in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They named their Roomba Jeff. Jeff was the name of the Roomba.
Okay.
And there was a closet that Jeff could get into, but Jeff couldn't get back out of the closet.
Me
So the
too.
youngest child is in kindergarten. And he tells his teacher in kindergarten, yeah, Jeff can't get out of the closet.
Oh my.
And the
God.
teacher did not know how to take that they had another person in the house named Jeff
Oh, that is so funny.
that couldn't come out of the closet, right?
Yeah.
Jeff keeps trying to come out of the closet, but Jeff can't come out of the closet.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And the kid's like
God.
5. He's like, I'm just telling him about Jeff the Roomba, right?
why are you
But
upset?
you put this in adult world context, and the
Yeah.
teacher's like, I got to call the mom.
Yeah.
I got to get some additional information on this.
Well, my first Roomba was named Rosie because it makes you name it. You have to name your device.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, in the app and to register it, it makes you name it. So my first one was Rosie because
There's so
Jetson,
much wrong with that.
obviously. And so then when she died, because we had a lot of hair in our family and it got clogged up and it killed her. So
You choked her.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I can explain that in more detail, but I don't think anyone cares. My second Roomba is, I couldn't name it Rosie because we had a Rosie. So she's Rosanna Dana.
Oh, Rosanna Dana.
Yeah. So I'll get an alert that Rosanna Dana is stuck. And I'll call the kids and ask them to find and move Rosanna Dana. And like, it's just, we're having a conversation about grandma or something. They're like, okay, I'll go get her.
So what would you, I mean, if you go back in TV land, what famous TV made would you name your Roomba? I mean, this is a great question from Monday that we didn't ask yesterday.
Give it in the comments. What would you name?
Yeah, what would you name?
Was the Brady Bunch, wasn't it Alice?
Alice was
would
one,
probably
yeah.
be my next one.
Alice. Who was the maid for the Jetsons? The Jetsons had a maid.
That's Rosie.
Rosie, yeah.
Rosie was
That's
Jetson.
why
Okay.
we started with Rosie.
Mr.
Yes.
Belvedere.
And we've done
Another one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could go less girly.
Miss Garrett from Different Strokes.
She was
Okay.
kind of the
Different
house mom.
Strokes.
Who's Aunt B?
Aunt B, yeah.
I don't remember Aunt B.
Aunt B
Andy-
was in
Andy Griffith's
Andy
show.
Griffith's show.
Oh,
She was
okay.
everyone was unmarried in that show.
Yes.
Except the town
Which
drunk.
was super weird.
What about Tony Maselli and Who's the Boss?
Yes.
Ooh,
Yep.
Tony.
hold me close now, Tony Danza.
Consuela.
Suddenly Amanda's had good memories. Very good memories. All right, so there was another story that came out this morning, and psychologist that you are, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
The story is it's from Psychology Today, titled Living Single. Dementia is more common among the married than the unmarried.
Good.
So unmarried people are at least 50% less likely to experience cognitive decline.
Yeah.
So are you and I going to ever remember doing this show? And is Davey going to be the only one that remember doing this show?
I don't know, but I know why this works.
Why does this work?
Okay. So
I knew you would have an answer,
Yeah.
psychology major.
yeah, you're not gonna like
All
my
right.
answer.
Oh, boy.
All right. So have you ever heard the phrase "use it or lose it"?
Okay.
Okay. Well, women do all of the remembering of two people when there's a marriage, so men lose their memory, and that increases the stats on marriage.
Is that a sign of low T?
Now, see, in our household, I'm the one that has to remember where everything is.
Yeah.
Because Darcy never put something in the same place twice.
Yeah.
Took me the first year and a half of
What
our
about like
marriage.
dinner dates and social occasions and birthdays and anniversaries?
That's her job.
And, yeah.
I write it down, right? There's some I remember. I will write them down. I have a book. I go look at the book all the time to make sure I've got all the right dates. Because I usually send out the family on the big family text first thing in the morning, 5:30, because I'm up the early. I will send out a happy
That's
birthday to
early.
everybody. So I try to make sure. Huh?
That's early. It's midday for me.
What time do you get up, Davey?
4:23 a.m. every morning.
What time do you go to bed at night?
9:04 p.m.
That's 7 hours. You need 8. What are you doing?
Oh,
You're killing
I
yourself.
have dogs.
You're gonna have dementia later. You're just gonna have that. So the story in the article is that the reason is single people have to do more things than married people
I
have
have to
to
do a lot of things.
That's what I
you
just
guys.
said.
It's really hard.
Well, you're talking about dates and stuff. This is about everything,
Yeah.
right? That single people, and then also that single people have to interact with more people. Like you're married, you go home to your spouse, your interactions. So you have to deal with a more varied and variety group of people, and so the conversations are different.
Well, do you know one thing that they found within married people that keeps your brain young and healthy and wards off dementia for as long as possible?
Bourbon.
No.
Tequila.
Wrong answer.
Okay.
Actively being involved with your grandkids.
Okay.
And
Wait,
so,
what?
yeah. So if you, as you age, you babysit your grandkids regularly, then interacting with the little kids keeps your brain young. And so I tell my mom when she helps me with homeschool, I'm just saving her from dementia.
See, that's great. So, Mom, when you're visiting in town,
Yeah.
Taylor's going to be staying with you. That's helping
Exactly.
you with dementia.
So I
Perfect.
kind of had this thought too. I kind of Dina Delled this for a moment. I mean, I
Okay.
got the argument here of you're single and you have to do more things by yourself,
Yeah.
and you're constantly seeking out
You don't
companionship
have
as
the
opposed to
collective
going
brain
home.
that
Yes.
you can
No one's
lean on.
constantly seeking out. I mean, some people, I guess, that are. Well, really? People are. Never mind.
The
all right.
swiping?
You show up here every day and interact with thousands of people.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for companionship.
These
I mean,
thousands of people are looking for companionship with you.
Well, that's fine, but I'm not looking for them. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. As I tag people in shows, I know. I am
Well, it's
looking at
over
it.
now. It's completely over now.
early.
Just let it go.
So what I also remember is there stats that married people live longer than unmarried people.
They just don't remember.
Well, that was my point. Does it mean that most people get dementia as they get older?
Uh-huh.
So I thought, well, how much of this is attributable to the fact that if you're married,
just
you're living
live longer.
longer and you're just living into that dementia stage of life, as opposed to somebody who died miserable and unhappy because they were alone.
And contrary to popular belief, married people have more sex than unmarried people. People
Opportunity.
usually think that it's the other way around and that
Opportunity.
single people are having
Yeah.
way more sex. But statistically speaking,
I don't even know what that is.
especially married people that ascribe to a faith have the most sex.
Great.
Religious people.
That's because you guys have a free pass to go ahead and enjoy.
Well, it's
You have-
blessed by God.
Yeah, you have
so
a
go for
blessing
it.
moment to be freaking a sheet.
I bless you. I bless
Yeah.
you.
Mouth wide, window shut. That's the way we like to. What? Yeah, but when you get a ring on it.
The stuff I've learned from this show will be in my first 3 books that I release.
You don't listen to Ludacris?
No, he doesn't. I promise you.
Okay, thanks for letting me know who that was. I could have pulled that up and said to my kids, "Who is this?" And they all would have known, but I was like,
Luda.
"No."
Hey,
No.
what is your daughter's champagne, or was it rosé?
It's a white, sparkling white.
Okay.
It's Society de la Rossi. Society de
We
la
were
Rossi.
talking about it this afternoon on the afternoon show with Pete, because we're noticing when we report on events, there's a lot of like non-alcoholic events popping up with like mocktails. We're really seeing a trend there, and I'm noticing that the youth, the ones that are like in their 21 and like in that 21 bracket, are not drinking as
They're
much
not
as
drinking as
we
much.
used to be
Yeah.
crazy drinkers back in the day.
Yeah, there was all kinds of warnings
Yeah,
about
'cause-
millennials and binge drinking, and
Yeah.
people are going to have cirrhosis by the time they're 30. And I mean,
True.
some do. But yeah, that was a real issue
I mean, we
in our
were
generation.
pictures of
Yeah.
vodka and
Boone's
Red Bull.
Farms
Like,
and fields.
yeah,
and
we were
whatever.
drinking like paint thinner
Yeah.
basically back then.
That's
for sure.
because our parents threw us out of the house repeatedly as kids,
Yep.
and so we learned to do fun things on our own. Not all of them good
It's
for
9
us.
o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah, right. Remember those things?
Yes,
Remember all
I
of those?
remember.
Yeah, those like.
I looked at
commercials?
my mom and I was like, there are people that don't know where their kids
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
What is happening?
But now the kids are like 32 years old and still living at home.
Yeah.
You
what
know,
I mean?
you,
Those
you-
mom,
you
yeah.
guys
know.
don't get the meaning of that. It was 9 a.m. and they were asking where we were because we got thrown out of the house. They had no idea at 9 a.m. where we
Lies.
were.
You said when the
lies.
lights
No
come
idea
on.
where we were. But the younger generation, I think they're a little more health conscious sooner in their lives. And there's a lot of stats out now about how bad alcohol is for you. So I think they're tapering it off at a much younger rate. And there's other people that, you grew up watching every night. You go home and you'd have a drink.
Yeah,
Or you
still do.
look at how much booze is in all of these movies and TV shows.
Right.
And it's in almost all of them. To the extent of when I see it now, I think, oh my gosh, this is what cigarettes were like. When you watched an old John Wayne movie, or you had very little booze back in those days. You had some, but not a lot. But I mean, people always have a clear glass with a brown liquid in it. You go, okay, they're drinking bourbon or they're drinking tequila or whatever if it's clear. But you always see that, and it's almost like that is now kind of run its course a little bit. I've talked to people in the industry, and sales are down. They're not down a little bit. They're down quite
They're
a
down
bit.
a lot, yeah.
Non-alcoholic sales are going through the roof, but there's not very many good products out there.
Well-
my daughter's product is amazing and wonderful, and it's the best
Yeah,
non-alcoholic
link in
I've ever
comments.
I
tasted.
put it in
Yeah.
the comments, yeah. My husband was just talking about this Sunday. We had a youth event at our house, so a bunch of families from church were there. And, whenever there's a youth group event, there's always sodas. And a lot of the parents are just, don't let their kids drink sodas. Like, I was given sodas, like, constantly. I was, like,
Coca-Cola
I drank,
constantly, yeah.
I drank
Diet Coke.
sodas
Oh.
like insane amounts. Well, restaurants, when my husband was still in the restaurant industry, the soda sales really started to dip, and that really started to affect their bottom line because there's a huge price markup on sodas. And so it's a huge
Did they still do free refills?
boost to sales. Yeah. And so they were really pushing the restaurant's parent company was really pushing, like, sell sodas. If someone asks for water, definitely ask them if they want soda. And my husband's like, I'm not doing that. Like, sodas are not good for you.
Yeah.
If someone's choosing to drink something better, then I'm not going to
yeah.
force them
Ugh.
or pressure them to drink soda.
Did you ever have a flavored soda?
I was straight Coke, regular Coke.
You never did chocolate Coke or anything?
It's straight Coke, not the gay Coke.
No, God bless.
Yes, thank you very
God
much.
bless. What's that, Coke Zero?
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got that. I did try. I tell you, the Coke that later on in life was the closest to the original was the Coke Life. It was in the light green can. and it had
Yeah.
stevia and natural.
That's right.
It had
I remember
cane
that.
sugar.
Yeah.
That stuff was great for mixing with rum drinks. I mean, it
Yeah.
was absolutely phenomenal. And that tasted most like the problem I have with Coke today is there's this high fructose corn syrup in it. It doesn't taste like the
Yeah.
Coke when I was a
It
kid.
tastes like chemicals.
It just doesn't taste good. So what's the most number of soda drinks you would drink in a day? So when I was in my 20s or 30s, I could probably do 7 to 10 Cokes
Lightweight.
a day.
Dude, you put them back.
Lightweight.
Not
me.
diet, regulars.
I'm
Yeah.
like 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
120
no.
calories at a pop. Boom. Gone.
12,
160.
12 pack a day, easy.
Of diet or regular?
Regular.
Regular Coke.
Yeah.
I was a wimp.
Yeah.
I was a lightweight.
12 pack a day. We had, when I rented a house in college, some college students, like frat houses, would have a wall of beer bottles or beer cans.
Coke
It was in New York, so you could return them. And so we would save all of our soda cans, and there would just be, but it was Dr. Pepper at that point. It was just cases of Dr. Pepper,
Yeah.
empty cans. And then there'd be like a Sprite and a Coke from
Yeah,
my
yeah.
housemates. And then we'd take them back. I would get like mad money for returning the cans.
That's amazing.
But it was an entire wall, and we would just build it up once it got to the third layer. It was like,
When
okay, we
did
gotta
you
go German.
when did you like phase out of that?
It's a lifelong problem. So I have had fits and starts in the past 10, 15 years where I've gotten off of sodas. So when I have a super stressful time in my life, then I have a tendency to go back to it.
So this is your
And,
crutch.
Like this is an actual addiction. It's actually hard for me. So you can probably go back on the shows, and there was
A big gulp.
Yeah, there was a big gulp next to
Polar.
me. And that was, once that disappeared, I was off sodas. And when it would reappear, then I was going through something and y'all didn't know it.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's why I have my unsweet tea,
nice.
and it's half calf unsweet tea to
Yeah.
like I still
See, I'm a
have
big soda
caffeine
water. I like a
crush.
soda water. Like I'm
Yeah.
cool with that.
But did you drink Cokes growing up?
Uh-huh.
And how many a day?
Like 3. I mean, I was literally raised like veal. Everyone knows this because it was my swimming. So it was like I couldn't have a lot of like super sugary things.
So you didn't enjoy life when you were younger.
I enjoyed it in my own way.
So
Strawberry milk.
Swimming is why I got into the habit of drinking so much soda, though, because
Really?
I wasn't great at swimming, obviously, so my diet wasn't in check. But I was on a team that practiced in the morning. I was on a team that practiced in the afternoon. I also did dance. I also did chorus. So by the time I was done with all of my rehearsals from like I was doing carpool, so I was driving by 4 a.m. and I would be home. I would get a snack, go back to rehearsals. By the time I was done with all of that, I was eating dinner and doing my homework by 10:30, and then catching whatever sleep I could get after my homework was done. And
And
then
you get
I'd
up
be
for morning
up
practice,
3:30
yeah.
in the morning so I could be ready for carpool.
See, Mr.
So
Schulberg would
it
have
was
not
just-
let you do
it
anything
was
else.
constant Dr. Peppers just to stay awake. And
Wow.
yeah, it was bad.
So we would watch whatever it was, Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, whatever the TV night was, Thursday night, watching, we'd have popcorn. And I'd always have 1 or 2 Cokes with that. And then I'd lay down in bed. And after having 8 or 9 or 10 Cokes, my ears would just ring.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to. So when I quit, I just quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
I just said, I'm done.
Thank God.
I mean, every once in a while, we'll go to the movies and we'll get a Coke. And I'm like, it kind of depends how they mix it, whether I can drink a little bit of it or none of it, or I just go back and get a water. But I can't do that. And iced tea, Kathy said that's all they had when she was kids growing up. My mom made her
Sun
own.
tea.
No, my mom made her own. She boiled it.
Yeah.
She had one pot that was only used to
Yeah.
make iced tea with.
Yep.
And I thought it was so much better for me until I walked through the kitchen one day and
And
she
watched
had
the sugar.
she had this like 1 cup or like 2 cup
My
thing for
grandma
sugar,
too,
and it was
yeah.
like 1,
Oh, we were sweet
2,
and low back in those days.
3,
Yeah.
Sweet
4.
and low.
If my mom didn't cook it at the right temperature, there was like an anthill of sugar at the bottom when she would pour it all out. I mean, it was just so much sugar in that.
Yeah.
I-
Sweet tea.
So I had to start going to just the straight. When I switched from Coke, it was the sweet tea, and then it was 50-50s,
That was my
and now it's
step
just unsweet tea, and I'm good. But yeah, I don't. The sugar is just so bad for you.
You got
it
it.
does so many
You know
bad
what
things.
really scares me are the energy drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I don't really know.
Everything that's bad in soda plus a major hit of caffeine that's affecting the
like
cardiac.
a major
yeah,
hit.
a major hit.
We used to drink Celsius in the studio all the time.
Yeah.
Like it was and then I started
Yeah, it
to
was a
like
thing.
look at it. I'm like, holy guacamole. That's
Yeah.
a lot of caffeine.
Our young child Levi, who goes in on Wednesdays, was the one who was like educated me about
broke
that.
Mike.
And my son was in college and he was in a nutrition class. And he said, Dad, you got to quit doing the Red
Red
Bulls.
Bull?
And so I was doing the sugar-free Red Bulls, and then which is probably even worse for you than having the sugar in the thing, but because of the aspartame and all that stuff. So I got rid of those, and then I went to a V8 drink. But I compared the V8 to a Red Bull one day, and I was like, it's the same stuff. It just has some vegetable juice in it and from concentrate. So when I quit that, I started sleeping a whole lot better at night.
Yeah.
Because that was a major caffeine hit that I was taking at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was just...
I was so addicted to sodas for a while. I could down a can, brush my teeth, and fall asleep before Louis. Like, it just didn't affect me at all.
Did you like the Mountain Dew?
No. I was Dr. Pepper, and then he quit smoking, and I quit Dr. Pepper at the same time. And so that's when I went to Coke.
Well, you guys were fun to be around.
Well, I was worse. I went through worse withdrawals for Dr. Pepper than he did for smoking.
Were you like sweating?
It was like headaches and like grumpiness. And he was just like, it's kind of hard when I drive. And I'm like, I was drinking it constantly.
Yeah.
You were smoking like when you were in the car or, when we would sit outside. It wasn't like constant.
So back to kind of the beginning of this conversation about the less drinking of alcohol. If I'm an alcohol company right now, and I'm looking at what's possibly trending, I'm nervous as heck because I'm looking at like, well, what were soda sales in the 80s? What are soda sales now?
My God.
What is the non-alcoholic sales, right? And if we're going to go down that rabbit hole, we're going to be... Now, beer manufacturers, to me, are kind of insulated because they can ramp up, and beer doesn't take that long to ferment and make.
Yeah.
But wines take a while. Bourbons, things that take a longer time to ferment. Tequila's... Yeah, but I think tequila and bourbon stay good for forever.
There's different levels.
Yeah. I mean, it's like gin and vodka, I think, are the quickest ones to turn around.
Yeah.
Right? They don't... That's not a long process. But yeah, if you've got... warehouses full of bourbon that you're getting ready to bring out in 5 years, and you're looking at where this trend is going, and you go, oh my gosh, if this continues, we're going to have an incredible glut of product, and it's going to be harder to sell it. So I look at that, and I get kind of nervous for those long-term manufacturers.
What was the drink, Mike Davis, when you were 21? What was like the hot drink back in the day?
Just beer.
Was it?
It was Coronas. It was
what
probably
was your
Coronas.
first
cocktail or something?
Like, what was your first signature drink? The thing that you would always go to?
Yeah.
Beer.
That was it? Was it
beer.
light beer? Was it IPA? What kind of beer?
I couldn't drink Budweiser products.
Okay.
I got the worst headache with a Budweiser.
Okay.
But we drank so much. Bush in college, we drank
whatever was
Coors
available.
Light. I mean, if it was on sale at Burtson's and you could pay $4 for a 12-pack,
Dad was the happiest he could be if he had a case of Natty Light for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Literally,
When you went, every fraternity had like their signature beer drinks. So like when I hung out with the KAs, it was Natural Light. When it was us, it was either Coors Light or Bush. I mean, it's just whatever was on sale.
Rock.
Now, I did spend an afternoon with Rolling Rock. So we were in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for a wedding. And we had seen the brewery, did the tour, did all that. And we had like 4 hours before we had to get ready to go to the rehearsal dinner. And so the guy that was getting married, the groom says, oh, well, we'll just go to this bar. So we walk in the bar, there's like 20 of us. And we're like, okay, we'd like some beer. And like, well, what do you guys want? We're like, well, what do you have?
Rolling Rock.
We're across the street from the Rolling Rock Brewery. We have Rolling Rock and we have Rolling Rock Light. So I spent an afternoon with Rolling Rock and my friends. Right? That was
I dated a guy from PA in college. That was what I made the joke about. He was a good guy. I don't have beef with him. His 21st birthday, he was from PA, so he introduced me to Yingling. So for his 21st birthday, I took him to the Yingling Brewery. I coordinated it with all of his friends, and we all took him up there together. So almost all of his friends were 21. I was still 20, so they made me sit on the underage bench. We call it the loser bench. So me and one of his friends were stuck on the loser bench while they were doing the tasting, and they were like in the adult area at the big kids table drinking the beer.
Did you hook up?
We needed drivers. No, I was with the dude. I didn't like the other loser bench
we were all young back then. I'm just saying,
so,
you might as well.
Yingling was a thing for me for a while because by association. But my signature drink when I was first a drinker was Malibu and pineapple juice.
Oh man, I remember those days. God.
I drank that in pubs in London.
Yeah.
Talking to Irish
Malibu,
guys in London.
There was also,
Soldiers.
gosh, that just reminds me of Auburn Hills, Michigan, and it was Parrot Bay and Mountain Dew. That was another like concoction.
Yeah, it was.
But honestly, because Sex and the City was so big back
Cosmos.
Cosmos.
I evolved from Malibu and Pineapple to Cosmos.
I still enjoy Cosmos to this day. They're absolutely
They're
refreshing
good. Yeah.
and delicious. Yeah.
So one of the stories, Barbara Jean, we have so little time. This is good to bring this up at the end of the show. There's an article written about orgasm camp.
About who? What?
Orgasm camp. Women can go to this orgasm camp out in Joshua Tree.
I thought you were saying Cam. Okay.
Camp.
Oh, me too. I'm like,
what's
what's the
happening right
subscription?
now?
Yeah.
Camp.
Okay.
So they have a 3-day one for $750. 3-day camp.
Okay.
But if you want to go, if you want to go 7
That's
days,
a medical condition.
You want to go 7 days? Yeah, that's life threatening too. The 7-day camp that teaches you this. How much money do you think you spend? How much money are people shelling out to go to the 7-day camp?
$6,900.
I'm gonna go $1,200.
$15,000. $15,000 to go to this camp.
Because as a female, I know an orgasm is harder to achieve. Davey's like, you can figure that out in 5 seconds.
Right.
Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When the wind blows, it goes. So, wow. 15K. You could buy a watch.
You can buy a lot of things for 50K. I wouldn't have a computer that's falling apart if I had 15K.
Your poor computer is
my
like
word.
the Amish. You should say it to them. They'll love it.
So here's just one paragraph from this article. It's on Yahoo Life, right? It's 6 p.m. on Sunday, and I've just emerged from a wild weekend.
Why would you admit this?
Yeah. Where I listened to strangers orgasm beside me, watched a live anatomy exam, got tied up. You paid money for this.
15K.
Yes.
You could have helped a nonprofit organization get toilet paper
For
with
$20
this money.
on OnlyFans, you could have gotten an anatomy presentation.
So Jana Hawking is the person who wrote the article. I promise you, one of her friends called and said, I would have done all that for you for $5,000.
I mean, really?
You wouldn't have had to fly out there. You wouldn't have had anything. I promise I would have done all that for you.
This sounds California all over it.
New York. It's New York.
It's New York. It's in New York. It's
They're
New York
outside.
Post.
It's New York.
Yeah.
No, Joshua Tree.
Well, it is in Joshua Tree, but she works for the New York Post.
Well, I'm just saying.
Now, where she
I want to know
lives.
the demographics of people attending. I'm saying New Englanders.
I don't know. I don't think New Englanders give a crap. I think it's California. Actually,
Barbara Jean, I can't read this.
Arizona. There's something weird with that state.
Barbara Jean, I can't read this on air. You're gonna have to look it up. You're gonna have to. It's way bad.
Are they teaching you how to do this, or is it just like you just do it?
That's what I got from that article.
They're teaching you how.
You got to really let it go.
They're not teaching you the science behind it. They're trying to teach you how to achieve it. I know that's blown your mind, but girls have problems with this. 70% of women say they've never reached climax.
I know.
So, like, that's why it's so expensive.
You got to learn how to make a fire without using wood. I get it. It's a Madonna quote. Thank you very much.
I think she's in Inferno, by the way, or was.
That's just when she pees.
You see it.
Many blessings.
Oh,
many blessings.
Gosh.
After hours with Mike Davis.
We'll be bringing the show back at 1 a.m. Oh,
I gotta bring my rosary next time.
My gosh. I'm going from here to the cathedral.
God bless you.
It's Holy Week, and I got some things.
Yes, light candles.
I just can't believe the amount of money people will spend.
Gives me meaning to hear
How much would you spend if you couldn't orgasm? How much would that be worth to
$0.
you?
There's more to life.
How to orgasm?
Davey Hartzel.
Yeah.
She's asking a man that. There's an entire industry of blue pills.
Yeah.
That have made billions of dollars off men trying to do the exact same thing.
Viagra.
That's helping men to be able to like get to the anatomical features to be able like if you actually can't, if you've heard about it your whole life and you actually can't, no matter what pills you take, no matter what interactions you have, how much would that be worth it to you?
I have no idea.
$5. I'd figure it out. You lean into the light. I don't know what to tell you over there. I mean, you just,
Different issues.
Try different park benches. I don't know what to
Patriarchy.
say.
They can't even imagine a world.
Try the different motion. Try yoga. You know, this could be, you know.
The washing machine. You're giving me the 80s. Sit on the washing machine.
It could be amazing. You never know. That could be 15K. There, you owe me
Now
$4.
with high efficiency machines, they're dry and they stink like mildew.
They're awful. They are bad. Do
a
not get a
speed
front
queen.
loader. Whatever you don't get a front loader.
Never
Get a
get.
speed queen.
No, the front loaders are awful.
Awful. I'll never do that mistake
No.
ever again. Oh,
No, I
top
got
loader's
one
the
of those.
best.
Never did.
I had a front loader, the dryer.
Never did again.
It was a fancy one, right? And it was the worst possible design. Every spaghetti strap top
Yeah.
that my daughter and bra that my daughter and wife had got shredded and I finally looked at Darcy and said, we're about to spend more on clothes than if I buy a new dryer. I'm just going to buy the new dryer and we're going to be done with it.
Yeah.
So you said that Lenny and Troy were busy at
They're all
trivia, and
listening
they're
to this,
all
yeah.
over the
Oh
comment.
my gosh.
Troy heard orgasm. I'm in.
No. That's not how it happened. Troy's phone is set with an alert that anytime he knows this is orgasm, he's like, "What? Where are you guys? What's going on?"
It's like the bat signal.
It is.
The orgasm king of St. Augustine. That's awesome. Thank you, Troy.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that one was just, I figured I'd bring that in for Barbara Jean today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Not a stripper story, but it's
wasn't
something.
a stripper story, but there is a lot of, Barbara Jean, just go read the article on Yahoo Life. I can't read anymore, but I should have read what I read. So.
Troy got a notification.
Yeah, Troy.
That vibration in the pocket.
Yeah.
$15,000 worth.
I can see Troy now. All right, this round of trivia is over. I'll be right back.
Listen to these tunes. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna go shred some paper.
Oh, it's too good. All right, so next week we've got is movie week is next week, right?
Movie week is next week.
Movie
We also
week
have
is next
Teresa
week.
Epic. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about the taste one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we got our last movie. But yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be good.
Yeah. It'll be good.
We got Irving Cass in the afternoon show tomorrow. We're going to be talking
Awesome.
about Nights of Lights with Susan Phillips from the VCB. That's going to be awesome to talk about too. They've got a really cool plan.
Put it
We're going to
back,
need your
put it
opinion and
back,
comments.
put it
So
back.
it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Troy says he's teaching a class.
Oh.
Job number 12.
Oh.
Does anybody believe?
Text me when you get to job number 69.
Wait a minute. Here's what makes me nervous: is the class that he might be teaching.
Well, he's talking about the orgasm class.
Yeah, I know.
$15,000
I know.
orgasm camp.
So what you
Know
need
your
to
words,
do?
Troy.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the worst possible thing. That's no. They're just. I mean, these women from around the country coming, and then he's the guy that's going to teach them.
Literally.
He's women like, I want a refund.
Women around the world are showing up and coming.
There's a rumor that manual stimulation was a Victorian era treatment for female hysteria. And so all these wealthy women that could afford doctors to be on call would start feeling hysterical, and their husbands would call the doctor, and the doctor would come in and manually stimulate the wife until
rewiring
she was done, and then she was calm again and nice and compliant and polite to her husband.
And the doctors in that area delivered a lot, and that time frame delivered a lot of kids that look just like them.
Yes.
Manual stimulation. You can't get pregnant from manual
you
stimulation.
keep it right there if you want to.
You had me at sodas, you guys.
No $15,000 camps for Davey.
No, Davey's out.
I'm out, yeah.
Davey's the camp.
You could teach the spin class for the camp.
Oh my God.
His face.
That's a temptation
What
that
a
Davey
great
doesn't
show.
need. Davey does not need that temptation.
No.
No, doesn't need that. Oh gosh, the vapors, Troy says.
Yes.
I know,
The
geez.
The
vapors.
vapors.
My
The
gosh.
vapors. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Levi will be in here. Tune in tomorrow morning. It'll be a great morning show on.
Yep.
And Davey's midday show has got what's the best?
Irving
show?
Cass and
Irving
Susan
Cass.
Phillips. Yep. Going to be great.
Yep.
So if you want to find out an idea for Nights of Lights, Davey's the place to go listen to.
That's it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna watch that.
I dare you.
It'll be the first time.
I dare you. You even watched your own when you were on it. It was really nice that you came on March 18th. I'll never forget that day.
It was really good to be on.
Troy said those bike seats would look different.
They definitely would be. They would have to be, wrapped.
Oh,
gracious.
my goodness. All right, you guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.